ready for the next match, 3FA versus LV. On the left-hand side of your screen for the data, we have a Megathron, an Absolution, an Ishtar, a Saber, and an Enyo.
And on the right-hand side for Lutka Volterra, we have a Balgorn, Damnation, Ishtar, Saber, and Retribution.
Another Balgorn.
We are on the countdown right now to begin this match. Both these teams doing rather well.
Should be a
in
good
this
fight.
championship so far. It's really a tough call, but I have to say that I'm a little biased towards LV in this.
Nice to actually see we haven't got a lot of missile boats this time. We're going to see some sniping, some good up close and personal work maybe.
Yes, and especially the Balgorn too. And we should also note that LV has done quite well with the Balgorn, whereas some other...
LV Saber taking shield damage already. Whoa, that was a hit and a half on
Nice.
the Saber for LV. Ripped half of his armor while taking out his shields in one swift blow. That was amazing. Again, another shot like that. We love to see them, don't we? That must have been a huge wrecking shot.
LV's Ishtar popping out some maintenance drones, placing them on the Saber.
The Saber's basically
Saber's
taking a
gonna
beating. Oh,
The
yes.
Saber may quickly come back here, but it may just be a moment too late.
Yeah, it's taking huge chunks out of its armor, and it's got half of its hull actually already gone.
Balgorn moving in close range, right inside 3FA's space.
Yeah, literally jumping in between all 5 players from 3FA. Don't forget they're packing a Megathron, which will more than likely be set up for close range, because that's the way they do their most damage. Unless, of course, like the one we saw yesterday, was basically full of NOS units. Now, that was a strange one. Okay, LV still holding on to that Saber. That is impressive, very impressive. Taking in shield damage on the Retribution for LV. LV being on the right-hand side of your screen so you can see the data. 3FA's Ishtar is taking shield damage now. Actually looks like LV are actually decided to do some damage. Now that Balgorn is up close and personal.
Really looking like an even match this time. Doesn't look like LV in the past matches were stalling.
No, I don't think they're messing around this time. A lot of action happening on the LV camp, taking damage on 3 different ships now. Looks like 3FA are actually having a go at the Ishtar of LV. Also, they're continuing to have a go at the Saber, but the Saber's pulled right back. The Ishtar for 3FA is taking armor damage now. Obviously, that's where it likes to deal with its problems. Shield being fairly light on the Ishtar.
We have the 2 frigates off to the one side here, having their own little battle. Not really much going on in terms of the big ships here. I think it's going to be more of a game as to who can suck the most cap here.
Indeed. I mean, looking at the 2 little frigates having a go at each other, I mean, there's a little bit of a side bet. Enyo versus Retribution. Which would your favourite be on that?
Enyo versus Retribution. That's a tough one. I mean, even looking at how things are sitting right now, both are doing quite well.
Yeah,
but I am in favor of that Retribution.
Oh, I definitely have to go for the Enyo because I like the paint job.
King Dave. King Dave, fantastic frigate pilot.
I mean, I'd sit there and go, I don't care what I can put on it. It's red. It looks sexy. We'll have one of those. Okay, 3FA still holding their Megathron, Absolution, Ishtar, Saber, and Enyo. The Ishtar's got no shields, but has pulled its armor back to 100%. The Enyo's got no shields and is holding its own quite happily against that Retribution. But the Retribution is sitting a little bit better. He's pulling his shields back and has got very little armor damage. Also, the Saber for 3FA on the left-hand side of his screen is taking a little bit of shield damage. We've actually lost the Saber for LV. The Saber for LV has gone. Finally, it lost its advantage of pulling its armor back and is now gone pop. So it's 4 for LV, a Balgorn, a Damnation, an Ishtar, and a Retribution against 3FA.
Fielding all of their ships, Megathron, Absolution, Ishtar, Saber, and Enyo. Still looking good for both sides here, although LV's Ishtar taking some damage now, just under half armor, not looking good. Hopefully they can put some of those drones on. I haven't really been paying attention to how 3FA's been handling LV's logistics drones. No, it appears they're still alive. He's coming back up again.
Yeah, it does appear that 3FA have actually got their setups very wisely tuned, because they seem to be able to take whatever LV seem to be throwing at them.
Whoever's managing those drones, doing a great job.
Indeed. I mean, we've got an Enyo, a Saber, and an Ishtar all taking damage for 3FA, but basically pulling it back as quick as they can deal it. LV are in a bad position now because they've lost their Saber. Their Retribution's taking armor damage. Their Ishtar...
Still not horrible, though.
No,
still not
actually,
horrible.
the Ishtar's pulled back its armor quite well.
In this case, it's still anyone's game, and as far as we know, between the frigates and the destroyers.
Interesting. 3FA now taking reasonably heavy damage on the Ishtar. Are LV actually now concentrating 100% on their hack to try and get rid of those logistics drones?
It's
very wise move.
3FA's hack not looking very good. It was in the same position that LV's was just prior to this. Can they make a comeback on it? No.
Also, the Enyo for 3FA is taking a pounding now. The Enyo will be gone in seconds. The Ishtar is still fighting back. He's armor tanking like no one's business. The Enyo's now into hull.
There he is. He just recovered 3FAs. He's got the armor
amazing
drones. This is a fantastic use. Both sides playing this very, very, very well. Looks like the Enyo for 3FA just about to go down here.
Yeah, it's going to be 4-on-4, but obviously 3FA still holding the 4 higher ships.
This may just be a matter of taking on these logistic drones and popping them one by one. I mean, it is clearly a NOS fight here.
I mean, definitely, when you look at the team that 3FA have fielded, they've got a Megathron, which has got a huge drone bay. Also, the Ishtar, which has got a huge drone bay as well. Both of them popping out huge amounts of logistics drones. If they can take out either one of those, it's going to weaken 3FA considerably.
Not to mention the gang modules on both of these ships.
Indeed.
And focusing primarily on boosting their armor.
I mean, it's been very evenly matched, but we thought this was going to be a good match, and they have not let us down. The Saber for 3FA taking a huge pounding on its armor. It looks like LV have really regrouped. The fleet commander must have had a bit of a pep talk and sorted the guys out so they knew exactly what they were doing. The Saber is going down. Hull taking 20% left, 10% left. He's almost toast. Yep, it's going to be 3-on-4. 3FA still fielding a Megathron, an Absolution, and an Ishtar.
Still not a big difference here. That Retribution isn't going to create much of a problem for all the rest of the ships that are left over. Although that Retribution being targeted now, we may be in for a 3-on-3 here with the battleship, the battle cruiser, and the cruiser or hack.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting that they fielded a very, very similar setup. I mean, obviously the Absolution and the Damnation, twin ships, just slightly different flavour. And obviously we've got a complete difference between 3FA's Megathron on the left-hand side of your screen and obviously LV's Balgorn. I mean, would you choose between the Balgorn or the Megathron in a fight?
The Balgorn or the Megathron, again, depends on fitting. I mean, I would probably be, in this case, in favor of the Megathron, but judging by the looks of things right now, its logistics drones are being killed off one by one here. In fact, I don't see any logistics drones out for either teams, unless they've pulled them back in.
Megathron is now starting to take armor damage. Not a huge amount. I don't think it's too much of a problem. The Balgorn's actually pulling its shield back, which I think obviously is just a standard recharge. But its armor is quite happily in good shape. Still fielding for 3FA and Ishtar, which has got very, very light armor damage. Not a major problem for it. The Absolution, which we all know is a fantastically hard ship to shoot. And the Megathron, which is taking a little bit more armor damage now. Do you think LV are actually now focusing on the Megathron?
I'm not really sure what LV has in mind here. It's still anybody's game, but LV clearly has the upper hand here in this situation. Still, the Balgorn has not even entered into armor yet. Still a sliver of shields left. That Megathron, once that Megathron goes down, I really believe it's going to be all over for 3FA.
Indeed.
But still a good fight, not stalling.
Yeah, it's gone one way. We thought at one point LV were going to get basically taken apart. And now they've managed to pull it back. This is what we like to see, you know, changing tactics on the fly, adapting to what actually happens on the field. When things don't work, not literally going, oh no, we've lost, but you know, the fleet commander, the team still pulling together and basically changing it up and focusing on different ideas and basically trying to get the job done. LV, credit to you, you're doing a good job.
But I really think 3FA is going to end up coming up on top on this. I don't believe this was a case of stall tactics in this round.
No, definitely not. LV really doing a very good job of changing the way that they're doing things. The Megathron now taking heavy armor damage, approximately 10% of its armor left. They're popping drones left, right, and center. I think that Retribution is actually doing a nice little job on some of those drones. And also, I think the Damnation's also doing a fair bit to that Megatron as well.
It's funny, we've seen a couple of Sentry drones popped out. I think this is only about the second one I've seen. But given how many drones are flying around, it's at times very, very difficult for us to tell what exactly is out there.
Yeah, Megatron actually going into Hull now. This is going to be a major upset for 3FA.
This is going to be the game changer right here. As soon as that Megatron is gone, we're going to be down to 3FA having an Absolution and an Ishtar.
Yeah.
We're going to end up in a 2-on-4.
Yeah,
This is going to be in favor of LV.
Yeah, Megatron now in flames. Battleships do go into flames quite dramatically. We should get a really nice explosion here. Hopefully the camera's actually picking it up. As if we actually get a pop. We've had a couple of times where they haven't actually. Yes, he went bang.
Go.
That was beautiful. I'm now going to pat the cameraman on the back. That was absolutely gorgeous. View from the Damnation of LV there, just lightly swinging past that Megatron as he basically went
Ishtar
bang.
going down quickly for 3FA. I think this is going to be all over. This is the end.
Yeah, I mean, basically, LV still fielding a Balgorn, a Damnation, an Ishtar, and a Retribution, and they are unloading every single piece of hardware they've got on this Ishtar. Shields gone, armor toast, hull gone.
Absolution,
he is absolutely gone.
Far out from the battle here.
Yeah, I think he's basically trying to save his skin as
And
much as possible.
the Balgorn moving in quickly.
Yeah, he's now webbed the LV have now webbed the Absolution, and just to slow him down, they're going to waltz over the top of him and just pound. Balgorn now actually nozzing the Absolution of 3FA. 3FA have now lost a Megatron, an Ishtar, a Saber, and an Enyo. So very convincing job being done by LV there. I mean, it did really look that LV were in trouble at the beginning of that battle, didn't it?
It was really hard to tell, and I really think that 3FA gave LV a run for their money. It was looking pretty bleak, but LV pulling a comeback.
Yeah.
Really, really, really strong comeback at that.
Again, it would have been fantastic to have actually, listened to what the fleet commanders were saying as to what was happening with LV's crew at the beginning of that match, to actually see whether the fleet commander was saying, okay, that's not working, guys, let's regroup, let's try something different. Balgorn up close and personal with this Absolution, just pounding away on it, closely being followed up by the Damnation and the Retribution and the Ishtar. All basically giving as much as is humanly possible to taking down this Absolution. They're doing a very good job as well. This is good.
Yes, this was clearly a case of a massive NOS fight here, and immensely. I mean, it was totally in favor of either team here. So and towards the end, I think the clear-cut winner, of course, is going to be LV.
Yeah.
And this Absolution going down rather quickly.
Yeah. They're making short work of it. Very, very commanding performance. Lots of firepower, which is what we like to see. We like to see hard-hitting teams, ones that don't want to take any prisoners. We'd rather see gank rather than tank because it's a lot more entertaining. But hey, strategy is up to the teams.
It is, and we're seeing a lot of different strategies and not the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay, that Absolution now going into Hull. He's toast. So the LV team still holding on to their Balgorn, which is a very expensive ship, a Damnation, an Ishtar, and a Retribution.
And stomping out 3FA.
Beautiful.
4-0.
Absolutely beautiful. Again, good match. We enjoyed that. Good tactics. Very, very good. So again, Balgorn. Impressive use of that said ship. Much better than last time.
Yes, LV really seems to have their. It really seems to have it together with the Balgorn, and they've been using the same ships over and over in the last couple of rounds, and it really hasn't changed much. 3FA switching from their last match and only switching up their Deimos.
Yeah, bring out the Ishtar to try and update with the logistics drones.
Still, nonetheless, a good battle and almost evenly matched. Looks like it at the beginning.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to turn around and maybe say that this was a clear case of stall tactics, but I think it was a bit of a fight for LV in this case.
Oh, definitely. I think LV actually had a few problems at the beginning, but that's the sign of a good team, that they can actually adapt and change and just basically solve the problems on the fly.
And they
That's
did that.
that cuts the wheat from the chaff. Okay, we're going back over to the studio. So again, fantastic battle. Over to you, Spiral.
Welcome back from one of possibly the longest and best fights we've had so far. Ifni, we've got a match coming up, the last one of the half-time soon. But first of all, that's the third time they've fielded the Balgorn, and it was used again to very good effect. Lock of Volterra really impressing.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I wanted so much. I wanted Third Front to win that one, but I don't know what they were thinking. Lotka have fielded the Balgorn in their previous 2 fights, and they did so for a third time. So they knew that it's going to be a Mike Hawk driving NOS machine, and it was. And I honestly, I don't know. Maybe they're just off their game today, and they didn't have the right tactics for this, which is a real shame.
A lot of people were wondering. The Balgorn has been used very effectively. It's been probably one of the most instrumental battleships in the tournament so far. Can Lotka Volterra continue to use the Balgorn, or are they going to become too predictable, Stavros?
I don't know, I was saying yesterday and the day before, I think it's very important for teams to try and not just to come up with one winning strategy, but they also have to be able to change the strategy on the fly. I mean, that's something we saw with 3FA yesterday. They went, and the day before, they started with they started with the Blasterthron, then they went to the Railthron. And I think that's just to keep your opponents on their back foot at all times, because it's there are counters to the vast majority of setups in EVE. That's one of the beauties of EVE. So I don't know if they could carry on using it, or if they'd be wise to carry on using it, but they definitely need to come up with something else in their bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Because especially if they, I mean, it's looking now like they definitely will make it through to the knockouts, failing Act of God. So I think that if they're going to go through with it a fourth and a fifth time, they're just people will start to come up with setups specifically to counter that.
Now, the Blasterthron, will ask you this, Tyrax. It's a very cap-dependent ship. It's got to micro-warp to you, it's got to get to you, and then the guns use a lot of cap. Surely it would have been a better option to stick with the rails, knowing that once he gets close to the Balgorn is effectively going to remove it from the game.
I think he had rails.
Did they have rails this time?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
pretty
that's me
sure
told.
that was a bad idea. He should have had blasters, or a Nosferatu setup. But they should have known it would be a Balgorn, and they definitely weren't doing the right thing in the battle itself. Their tactics, using the setup they brought, were not good enough, and the tactics they chose weren't good enough either. So they used it wrong, and they brought the wrong setups. They were off their game.
Can LV continue to use the same setup, which has worked so well? Or this is what we were saying to Stavros, really.
That would be an extremely bad idea. If they continue to use the Balgorn, then they will lose in the next or the match after that.
What kind of thing can you do, if need, to counter this big vampire machine that we keep seeing?
Use your own Nosferatus. I mean, you can't jam, you can't use EW in this, so you can't stop it nossing you. Or you could use a Rapier or a Hugin to basically web it at 40 kilometers, and then it can't do anything. You can't get in range to nos you. Or use a Ravens or a Rattlesnake or any Mimitar ship really that doesn't require cap to kill you.
So, example, a Raven or a Mimitar autocannon, something like similar, with a load of repair drones on it, the Balgorn would just sit there and die.
Yeah, if you used a Hugin to web it at 40k, it can't nos anyone, it can't get in range, and then you just pound it with missiles or a Tempest, a fleet issue Tempest, shooting at it with 1400s, and then he's going to run out of cap, and then just a big target.
It'd be interesting to see a fleet issue Tempest not blow up, in fact.
Yeah.
Especially for you, because every time you do it, a little tear of sadness
Yeah.
goes down your face.
I feel kind of bad for saying all this because, I mean, Stain Alliance would have beat the shit out of LV, but now I don't know if they. Now it could be interesting if LV realized their mistake of continuing using the Balgorn if they were planning to do that.
So we're giving them a little bit of help, I suppose.
Yeah.
By telling them, careful, there's Hugins out
I
there.
apologize to Stain Alliance. I mean, I sort of ruined it for you guys.